think it's just the perfect color for fall. It'd be really nice to cast this on in October because that's when I was in Japan last year. Hi and welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, hi, my name is Mathilde, I'm a French knitter, and if you're not new here, thank you so much for coming back, I really appreciate it. If you're not subscribed already, I would really appreciate if you clicked on the subscribe button down below so that you don't miss any future content. But in today's episode, I really want to share with you my fall knitting plans. Now, I know what you might say, it may be a little bit early, but over the past few days it's been raining, foggy, and that's my favorite kind of weather, and it's kind of fall weather, so I'm ready for my fall knitting. I've also mostly completed my summer knitting plans, so I'm really in the mood to kickstart my fall knitting plans and just get ready for fall. So I thought I would share that with you. As always, I'm going to be using the app called Milanote, which I will try to include in the description down below because I always forget. It's not sponsored or anything, I just love using this app to plan my knitting for the next few months and to be able to look back on what I had planned for the last season and see what I need to bring back or like to continue knitting on during the next season and what I want to add to my wardrobe for the rest of the year. It's a really good way for me to visualize what I want to be knitting and if my plans are still the same, and I think you guys really enjoy going through it with me as well in that visual way. So I think we've found a good place and we should just get started and talk about my summer knitting plans and what I managed to accomplish or didn't. So I'm going to be sharing my screen, but I'm also going to be looking at my laptop quite a bit, so just so you know. So let's get started. This was my summer knitting plans. Now we'll just briefly talk about what I accomplished and what I didn't, because if you've been following the podcast then you probably already know all of this, so I'm going to go through it quite quickly. The first project that I finished that was on my needles, or like that wasn't the first that was on my needles, but it was the first that I accomplished this summer, was the poppy dress / blouse by Joanne. This was a test knit that I did for her. She's also known as testknit over on Instagram and YouTube. She started designing earlier this year, and this was one of her many designs because she's released quite a few already. This one isn't out yet by the time I'm filming this, but I think it should be out pretty soon. I knitted it as a blouse using onning number 21 in the colorway Army Green, and it's a really lovely versatile piece. It's a raglan design with lace detail at the raglan, and otherwise it's a really simple stockinette project with a little bit of a bell-shaped sleeve, which is really lovely. So highly recommend that pattern if you're looking for a simple but with a little bit of a twist design for this fall. I think actually it would be perfect for fall as well, but mine is finished so I can remove it from this list. The next design that I finished, I think, was this one, which is another test knit that I did, but this time for Ozetta. This was the clay tee that I knitted using Sunday by Sandnes Garn in the colorway marine blue, I want to say. I knitted it using this yarn held double, so it makes this a bit more of a heavyweight garment because otherwise it's a t-shirt made for the summer, and the recommended yarn is pure silk held double, I think. Mine is, I think, perfect for fall. I'm excited to try it out, to try wearing it when it's a little bit not as warm, but also not too cold, and I'll let you guys know how it wears. But I really love this design and I finished it quite early on in my summer. I forgot to say, but I'm actually wearing a knitted piece as well. This is the Friday sleepover that I knitted in Jing 4-leaf, soft silk mohair and merino in the colorway marzipan. So I will link it down below in case you're interested in knowing more about this project. Okay, next up we have the mixed strip Cami by Florence Miller. I knitted it using knitting 4-leaf cotton merino in the colorway Thundercloud, and it's one of my staple pieces of this summer. I really love this project. It ended up a tiny bit more oversized than I wanted, or like not oversized, but doesn't have as much negativities as it's supposed to, but it's lovely, and I think it's gonna come back in my knitting plans next year, so that's how much I love it. Finally, in terms of camisoles and tops, I knitted the camisole number 4 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This was a pattern that I had already knitted last year or 2 years ago, and I really loved the project and I loved the design and wearing it, so I decided to make another one. I think this is my first time knitting a pattern twice actually. But this time around I used a really lovely luxurious yarn which was Compatible Cashmere by Knitting for Olive, held double in the colorway cream, and I love the finished piece. I just need to redo the bind off because it's a little bit too tight, but otherwise it's really stunning. Now let's just talk briefly about these socks. These are the Maine Coast Summer Socks by Summerly Designs that I knitted in Vilcorana Ozetta in the colorway Chinese Red, I think is 218, which is a pretty similar color to the sample pictures. And I finally finished them. It took me a while to knit them and finish them, but they're finally wrapped up. And I really love that design. It does feature those really heavy cables, but it's not like you do have to make some cable rounds, but it's not too complicated. It just needs a little bit of focusing, but I really love this design, so I highly recommend it as well. Finally, let's talk about this gorgeous piece, which is a Tulip Loop V-neck by Other Loops. I knitted it in Knitting for Olive Heavy Merino and Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Dusty Banana, and I did manage to finish it in time before summer ends, so I'm really happy about that. It turned out way better than I thought it would. I will link up or in the description my Tulip Loop V-neck vlog, project vlog, if you're interested, because I really enjoyed making it, but also there were a lot of trials and error, let's say, so I think it's an interesting vlog to watch if you want to make that pattern, but I did manage to finish it, so that's good. Now let's talk about the two patterns that are left on the screen. The main one is the Knit cardigan by Petite, which I'm knitting because I haven't finished it in Knitting for Olive Merino and Soft Silk Mohair in the colorway Red Currant. I am powering through it. It's not done, but it's starting to become more of a finished project. I'm almost to the bottom of the body, and then I'm gonna have the sleeves, and then it will be done. So hopefully, I don't think I'll finish it by the end of the summer, because as I said, still got technically a bit to go before the end of the summer, so I'm gonna keep it on my mood board for fall, but it should be done I hope by the end of September. And finally, this little piece here is the Honey Clutch by Petite, which I am knitting with leftover yarn from different projects, which is Merino by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Deep Petroleum Blue, held with Tynn Silk Mohair by Sandnes Garn in the colorway Marine Blue. Everything will be linked down below in case you're interested. It's on my needles, but I've barely just started it, so it's not finished at all. I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish it by the end of the summer, although I would really like to. This is a gift knit that I'm knitting, but since I don't have a set deadline for it, it's kind of like up in the air and it's not my priority knit, but I might try to get it back on my needles more frequently, because right now I've knitted on it here and there, but not enough to see a lot of progress. So I'm going to keep it on my fall knitting mood board. So let me rename this mood board. I'm going to put it more here. And we'll change up the colors once I've shown you what my plans are for this fall season. Okay, the first one that I want to knit on is the Porcelain Sweater by Lene Holmer-Samso. And if you've watched my latest podcast, you know that I already cast this on, so it's officially back on the needles, officially ready to go. I'm actually pretty far into it. Now, I won't spoil you if you've watched the podcast about whether I've had to frog it because the sizing isn't good. I'm going to keep it a little bit in suspense, but I've been wanting to knit this project since fall of last year and even earlier than that, but I did try to cast it on last fall, but there were a lot of issues. So this time around, I'm hoping it works out. If I have to cast it on again, like frog it and cast it on again, I will, because I want this to be done by the end of the year. So officially, I think this is kind of one of my priority knit this fall. For this lovely project, I am using Tynn by Sandnes Garn in the colorway 1001, held with soft silk mohair by Knitting for Olive in the colorway cream. And then for the contrast color, I'm using a hand-dyed yarn by Olivia and Olivia Fibers called Foliage, held with soft silk mohair by Knitting for Olive in the colorway Dusty Olive, which I think is such a lovely pairing. I'm very excited for this project. Now, another one of my exciting projects for this fall is this lovely sweater by Petite as well, which is called the Esther sweater. I want to knit it using hand-dyed yarn, again by Olivia and Olivia Fibers, in the colorway Chestnut. It's in her Suri Silk and organic DK base. So I can show you that yarn because I got it ready. And I mean, I think it's just the perfect color for fall. Can't go wrong with that. So I want to cast this on the 1st of September because I just feel like it's going to be such a good, such a fun way to start the September month. I don't really care if I already have 1,000 projects on my needles when I cast this on, because this is one of my priority knits as well. This yarn, along with the yarn that I've had for the porcelain sweater, are one of the oldest ones I've got in my stash, and so I really want to, first of all, kind of get through them, but also just have the patterns in my wardrobe so that I can finally wear them. And I'm very excited to use these because both of these are very soft yarns, and the color is stunning, and I'm really in love with the pattern and the texture. I know that there are two ways to make the color in that pattern. There's the folded down color, which is what is here, and I think there's kind of a mock neck color. I'm planning to make the one that's in the sample picture, so the folded down color, because I just think I'll get way more wear out of it that way. Next up, you guys are probably gonna think that I'm a little bit crazy, but I want to make another gift knit this year. I said earlier in the year that I wanted to make 2 big gift knits this year, which was, the first one was the zipper sweater light man for my partner, which I did make, and the second one is a November vest by Petite, which is this beautiful design that I want to knit for my grandmother. So it's another brioche cardigan. It's actually pretty similar to the Agnit cardigan in terms of shaping, and even the pattern itself starts the exact same way. I haven't checked the numbers, so I'll let you know once I've actually got into the pattern if the numbers are the same, and you can probably get away with just using one pattern for both. I'll let you know in case you're interested in making both, but at least I know the shaping starts exactly the same. And I want to make this one using a completely different yarn from the recommended yarn, which is what I've done also for the zipper sweater light man, and it turned out really good. And I want to use actually the exact same yarn, which is Gilead or Gilead by Dero Natura. This time I want to use the colorway L'Heure Bleue, or the Blue Hour. I don't know how it's called in other countries, hopefully it's the same French name, which is this gorgeous kind of denim color blue. My grandmother's favorite color is blue, and I wanted to get her a color that was a little bit, I don't know, I really love this color and I think it will suit her a lot because she has blue eyes as well. My grandmother is, I think, the most knit-worthy person in the world. She used to knit a lot. She doesn't anymore really because it hurts her hands. She did knit a scarf last year for my uncle, even though it hurt her hands, even though it was a black yarn that was a really not very good yarn. She knitted it, I think, in half fisherman's rib or something similar, so a little bit of an intricate stitch. So you know she's knit worthy when she's knitting stuff like that for other people. Also, my uncle is like 2 meters high. I'll put it on the screen how much it is in feet, but he's really tall, so this scarf was so long. So yeah, and she loves vests and she loves pockets, so I'm gonna be making pockets for her, even though I'm a little bit scared of making pockets, even though I know they're not too complicated, but yeah. So I want to make this. I'm hoping to finish it by Christmas, but I'm not gonna put too much pressure on me because it is a brioche knit and brioche is quite time consuming. But because I'm using a different yarn from the recommended yarn, I have to go up in needle size quite a bit, so hopefully it shouldn't take me too long. We'll see, but I'm hoping to at least get it cast on and pretty much finish the yoke by the end of the fall. That would be awesome. But as you can see, we already have a pretty large amount of projects on the mood board. So the next few ones I'm going to show you are more like, if I have time, I want to cast this on. Might not finish it by the end of the fall, but it would be nice to at least have them going, like started. I forgot to mention for the November vest, but I've ordered the yarn, but it hasn't arrived yet, so that's why I'm not showing you the yarn. But next up, I've added a sock pattern. I said at one point earlier in the year that I wanted to try to make 5 pairs of socks this year. I don't think that's gonna happen, but if I can make at least 3, maybe a 4th one, that would be nice. So the next one I'm hoping to cast on is the quilty cabin socks by Crooked River Crochet, I think. Which I've mentioned in another knitting plans earlier this year. So I want to use, because I think I hadn't shown you last time, but I would like to be using Filcolana Ozetta, which is in the colorway Natural White, I think, which is 101. I'll put it on the screen, which is leftover from my Christmas socks that I made last Christmas, held with a very special yarn that I bought in Japan last year, which is the Milanote yarn. It's actually not a Japanese yarn, it's German, I think, but I bought it whilst I was in Japan. It's in their Sock Happy base in the colorway Dijon, and it's like going to be my contrast color for the quilty bit of the socks, the colorworks part. I'll see, I might use it also for other pops of color in the sock itself. I haven't decided quite yet, because I know I'll definitely have leftover, but maybe I can use it in a blanket or something if I have more. But I'm excited to make this as kind of like a nice souvenir project from my Japanese trip last year, and it would be really nice to cast this on in October, because that's when I was in Japan last year, so it would be, you know, really reminiscent of it. So that's the combination that I would like to be using, and it's also using yarn from Stash, which is always good. And then we have another gift knit that I would like to make. Again, it's that time of the year where you want, or you may not want to, but I'm kind of craving making gift knits for people. Now, I always say I want to make gift knits, but then I'm always like, but actually I want to knit for myself more. So if you feel that way, don't feel pressured at all to cast on gift knits, because I think, you know, it depends on how you're feeling and everything, so don't feel pressured to do it. I think I really want to, but I might not end up casting this on, so we'll see. But I would like to make the Marielle scarf by Marielle's Virgin, and I want to make it, there are 4 sizes I think in the pattern. There's like a bandana size, a neck scarf, a shawl, like a small shawl, and there's a larger shawl. I want to make the neck scarf size, and I want to use Stash yarn, but I want you to guys to try and like help me figure out which color I should be doing. So I have Sunday by Sandnes Garn in the colorway Ice Blue, and I want to hold it with Tilia by Filcolana in the colorway Ice Blue as well, so I think they would pair really well together. I think this would be a really beautiful Marielle scarf. I really love that lace detail that it has, and I think in this light blue color it would be really pretty, maybe for spring. Or I have also Alpaca 2 by Ozetta in the colorway, I think I want to say E0, yeah. I have 2 skeins of it, so again, I think as the sample pictures in white, it's just so basic, so easy to wear, so easy to pair with your outfit. So I don't know which one I should do. Maybe I'll make both. I think they could be really cute for different people, but let me know which one you would go for. And then I haven't pictured it here because I don't have a picture of it and I don't have the yarn yet, but I have another test knit that I'm going to be doing for Joyin from Toxknit, so I'll share more about that when it comes. So, but that's definitely going to be my priority for September. But just in case I have finished all of these projects, I want to buy a very goal that I had in my life that I have achieved, but I also want to wait until I've finished at least the porcelain sweater and the knit cardigan before I buy that yarn. But I would like to make the Elizabeth Blouse by Petite. So for this gorgeous project, I would like to use Classic by Cardiff Cashmere in the colorway Nero, I think it's called. which is a black. I want to make this as a very simple, basic, staple piece in my wardrobe to be able to wear it whenever I want, especially since I'm going to be knitting it in this quite expensive cashmere yarn. I want to be able to wear it whenever I want, with whatever, you know, trousers I want or skirt or whatever. So I think black is going to be really easy to pair with everything I have in my wardrobe, hopefully. But that's going to be like a late fall, early winter kind of project. It's also in my make 9, so I also want to, you know, try to keep focused on my make 9 if I can. But because I haven't that yarn in my stash yet, that's why it's not a priority for this fall. Also, I would otherwise want to cast it on quite early on in the fall, because I think it will be a bit too lightweight for winter for me to wear. But we'll see. It's cashmere, so it does, I think, keep you warm keep your core pretty warm, but yeah, I don't have it in my stash, and because it's quite an expensive yarn, I want to wait until I've at least, you know, gone through 2 sweater quantities that are still in my needles, so the porcelain and the agate. If I can also wait until I finish the Esther sweater, that would be great, because that would feel even more like I've kind of gone through my sweater quantities in my stash a little bit. So we'll see, but I will at least buy the yarn at the end of fall, I think, this year. So those are quite heavy plans. Let me just switch up the colors from here, because we don't have that dusty banana anymore, so I might put the rust color, and I don't really have that blue anymore, so I might put maybe this blue. Yeah, I think that's pretty. So those are my fall knitting plans. Let me know what your guys' plans are. I would love to know. I always love to hear what you're knitting on, what you're planning on knitting, what you've maybe frogged and, you know, decided not to finish, because I think that's also very valuable to know. I'm really excited to share with you my progress on all of these projects in the next few weeks, so let me know if you're excited about those. I'm also planning on making quite a few project vlogs in the coming weeks about those projects, so if you like project vlogs, let me know as well, so that it keeps me motivated, because those are quite time consuming to film and edit. I love making them, but it does help if you guys also let me know if you love them, to be honest. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this mood board time with me. Again, the app I'm using is called Milanote, and if you're making mood boards as well for your knitting plans, please send me them over on Instagram at Nestled in Knits, so that I can see what your plans are. I would love that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!